Three, two, one. Hi, welcome back to Miracles Online podcast. This is a podcast about relationship, dating, marriage, and commitment. And we're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Jeff, and this is my lovely wife.
I'm Kat.
Yeah. And today we have a wonderful topic. It's something that I know that a lot of people have dealt with, including ourselves.
Yep.
It's about long distance relationships. So to start off, Kat's got something for us, don't you?
Well, I'm just going to, open up, Jeff, and then we're going to have just an organic conversation on, is love bound by geography, or can connection transcend that space?
Yeah.
And I think you probably all know what the answer is. And we're going to give you some, tips and maybe a couple action items on how to navigate that and to reframe distance as a filter, not so much as a barrier.
Okay.
So a couple touch points on that, Jeff, before I have your engagement, is that it can act as a catalyst. It can reveal your intention faster. Well, how is that? How is that? How could that be? How could that reveal your intention faster, Jeff?
In regards to distance?
Distance.
Well, again, it depends on if this is out of state or is this out of country, out of county, out of city. It really depends on the distance of it. But for me, I'll say this. I knew that if we were going to develop a relationship for commitment, that if we were just going to let distance to kind of dictate that, then it was counterproductive for me, because I know that life gets busy. I get busy, and I want somebody home with me. That's what I wanted out of a relationship, the commitment. I want it to be in a daily thing. So if we end up dating, oh, I can see you when I'm not working, then it'd be, I'm seeing her only on weekends. Then it becomes the weekend thing. And
which is why we didn't date for very long, which may not be the case for you. Yeah. But having that long distance, you have those conversations early. Yeah. And for us, and I know for many, you can really take that time to hone your communication skills. Because, for us, even though it was only an hour and a half drive, again, there was life. I was a single parent. There's jobs, all of that life stuff was not conducive to us. It even took us a month before we could meet in person because of what was going on. So that's really an opportunity for you to hone your communications skills and your style. Okay. And it really encourages, I think, more of an emotional bonding and reduces the pressure somewhat of, right away, we're going to meet each other. So now you're, for us, we're zeroing in on some really heartfelt conversations. For us went, for hours and for days, after work, before work. It was pretty intense.
Well, that's right. And that is also the decision that if we were getting so well, getting along, conversing and having laughs and so forth, I want that every day. And I wasn't going to end up driving every day after work to see her for a few hours and having to drive home. That just was not going to work, And the bottom line, let's look at it. The template of that, what we were going at, I actually envisioned, I have a relationship path that we're going, and distance was not an issue if I found the right person. Because if I found the right person, I was ready to commit. And if I'm ready to commit, that means I was either moving or someone was moving to me. But with her, of course, she has a family with the children in her house and so forth. So evidently and obviously, it would be me that was moving because I was the single guy in a bachelor apartment. Nobody was going to that, right? So with those things in mind, of course, is where I had to make a decision and tell her, hey, you know what? If you're really serious, let's get married. And it was not, out of convenience. It was not out of, okay, spurt of moment, and we're still having that honeymoon. It wasn't that. It really was that we found each other, and we were ready to make that fantastic relationship. So if you have already figured that portion out, then why are you waiting another day? And we often see this in, the so-called romantic stories. I can't wait till another minute to start my life without with you, and I don't want to wait another minute. That's what it was, right? And the same thing for me is once we had our date, once we have seen each other, once we held hands and kissy and all that good stuff, and it was okay. We were into each other, right? And I remember what's funny is that one of the times I drove to her house to go to her door, and she opened the door, she looks at me, and she kissed me. I was thinking to myself, is she thinking, oh my God, she looks different in daylight? Or if she's going, maybe, I don't know. But, as I
Why
kissed
would you
her,
think that?
just because,
Okay, just
so
a random thought.
yeah. So I believe that was the first time I came to your house. So, and as I came in and we started to go through things, then we realized, oh, this is still the same person I talked to. And this is still the same person that we went to first date with. And this is still the same person, kissy and all that. So it was all in my own head. If she kind of gave me the look like, oh, it's you. No, it's actually, at that point it was like, oh, and you have to recognize one thing. A lot of the craziness and the doubt, or is she the one, or is he the one, all that, it's in your own head. It's your own imagination and your own fabricated reality. So be aware how you buy into that. Long distance relationship works for some people. Okay. For instance, hey, I really enjoy our time together, but I have a life in New England and you have a life in California. And until something changes, that's it.
Sure. Now we're talking out of state.
Yeah.
But to build and get up to that, I've got a little tidbit for you, and that is that an actionable, if you will, is to create a ritual to reinforce your commitment. So let's say you already have, they are out of state. Maybe they've come down once, maybe twice. But you're still having a long distance relationship. Schedule check-ins, okay, as a ritual. Morning texts, okay, evening FaceTime, a prayer or meditation time. And why does that matter? Predictability. And predictability fosters what? Safety. That, okay, they're dependable. I can count on them. This is important to them. Right. And these small, consistent actions signal what? Emotional investment. And so that's a way through long distance, again, whether it's out of state or just out of town, right. Which I look back and we had that because I was going actually to massage school at the time and would get home at 10 o'clock at night. So we had a ritual of, okay, I'll go to, when I get off from school, we'll talk. And we sometimes talked to wee hours of the morning. Then he had to get ready and go to his job. But we had predictable rituals, if you will, for conversations and for meeting and for talking. And we didn't have text then, so it was on the phone that we had. So that can strengthen, I think, the distance can strengthen the emotional intelligence between you and the connection between you if it's moving forward and the only thing that's standing in your way is geographical distance. And that matters. But you've got to do what I say is to do the reps. You have to develop the communication muscle, and you got to do that by putting in the reps, just like someone at the gym has to put in the reps to build the muscle. You've got to put in that communication time to make it strong.
I think one of the key factors is any kind of long distance relationship is patience.
Absolutely.
Not having to try to hurry the process before it's maturing itself.
Absolutely. Because, one of the biggest things I know you would agree, Jeff, in a relationship is trust. And how do you build trust? Trust is built over time.
Yeah.
So really that distance is almost, again, like a great filter for clarity and a time space to hold space for you to build that trust in the relationship before you even met. And again, although ours was only an hour and a half distance, we had built such connection, such trust, such chemistry, an understanding of who each other was, that it was, some might have thought, and many did, after 6 weeks we were married, people thought we were, like, okay, this won't last.
Well, the interesting thing, nobody ever voiced it to us.
Well, of course, but they might have been
Right?
thinking that. But the people who knew us intimately and knew us the best knew that, wow, she must have something special, because she's been very selective and been a single mom for 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And it was, relationships, at least that I ever brought to the family or in front of my kids, were far and few between. I was very protective of that. So I think my friends and family knew, wow, this is the real deal, even though it's only been 6 weeks.
And one of the key factors, and let's keep that in mind too, is the age of who we
I was
were.
just going to mention that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in my mid-30s. She was a little bit over,
40, in my 40s. Yep.
And so if someone who's in their 20s or maybe in their 30s, it wouldn't be as such of a urgency. I mean, I didn't feel urgency. I just felt that it was like, why waste any more time? That's really what it was.
And I think, you have to have certain life experiences to gain wisdom and clarity and maturity, to do everything, to communicate, to know yourself, to know what your negotiables and non-negotiables are. That takes time. We have to live life and figure out, okay, I don't want that. We have to figure out what we don't want to figure out what we do want. And it really takes time. I'm always just marveled at young people that I see in their 20s, even some 30s, that are so mature and have done that work so early. I'm just so happy for them. For me, it didn't, it came a decade or two later, and it's continuing, excuse me, as we evolve and become more every day. But yes, we were definitely, excuse me, we were definitely mature and had lived life, and we knew what we wanted. And we almost, I'm not going to say interrogated each other, but we knew the questions to ask.
Yeah, there was a level of, I think the first couple of days, very much about inquiry, interview, wanting to know. And that became sharing, and then became, what can we do together? And then it became, how can we write this chapter? So then it became collaborative. And that's why when we start to go down that road with our thoughts and our intentions, I knew it was, okay, then why are we wasting time? We can't do, I mean, surely we could do it, apart, but I didn't want that. I was ready to be in a room with her all the time. I wanted to hold her, touch her.
And I will tell you, for me, and I've told Jeff this before, for me, I was a very strong, had to be by default, as a child, and then also as a young mother and a single mother. I had to be strong. I was responsible for other lives. And I said to myself, when I was doing my checklist of negotiables and non-negotiables, and I knew I needed someone who was stronger than me in the right way, not overbearing, not in a misogynistic way, but had an inner strength and knew when to be strong and when, it's a dance, it's an ebb and flow. And I will tell you, always be yourself. Don't try to meld to be someone way that you think someone else wants you to be.
Mm.
Back in the days where women would, be the femme fatale and lose at a sports game, or, lose at something so that the man can feel bigger or better. Hopefully those days are gone. But I know that
Right.
somewhere, subconsciously, there's ladies out there who are, well, let me be how he wants me to be. Be yourself, be your most authentic self.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why is because it's the greatest filter. I mean, I didn't think that when I was younger and dating. I just thought, okay, well, I really liked him, but evidently he's not into me. Well, guess what? That strength was filtering out the weak ones, filtering out the ones that didn't really have the strength and know who they were to dance that dance with me. And that's one thing that was so hard.
Yeah.
That
We've
was
reached that part of the day where our Alexa tells us that we love each other. It's a reminder, so that one day when we can't even look at each other and know our names, we remember this.
I don't know if they can hear
Alexa.
that, but yeah, that's our Alexa giving us a reminder that we love each other. So where was I? So it's a at the time I didn't think, I just thought, oh, okay, well, I guess he just wasn't into me. I don't know why. And you start beating yourself up.
Mhm.
And then of course we look in retrospect and go, oh, okay, I know what God was doing all along, going, you're being your authentic self. And it's a great filter to filter out the ones that aren't your match. They don't vibrate on the same energetic level.
Right.
And so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. I am too. And everything works in the way it's supposed to be. And
Divine,
this is,
yes.
so you don't want to press it. If the long distance relationship with that person that you feel right with it, then work with that. The key factor about this is don't frustrate and don't start to put together guidelines that is outrageous and unattainable. What I mean by that is if this person cannot be at your graduation, cannot be at your family dinner or whatnot, don't force that upon, as that person does not contribute and does not want to participate with me. And eventually you're going, well, maybe this is not the one. You're looking at the wrong thing here. So the key factors to long distance relationship, I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Number one is that you have to interact on a regular basis if you want a relationship.
Yes, regularly set rituals, however, have it be regular, consistent.
And two is be very honest about the disappointment. Be very honest about your desires and your outlooks toward that future together. If you see one, if you don't see one, be honest about that.
Sure. I mean, we had one that was on my mind because I was a single mom of 3 children. I had one at home.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really thought, okay, very early on, probably in the first conversation, well, once he finds out, that I don't want kids because he was over 10 years younger than me, still is, although he's getting older all the time. No.
Wow.
I thought, okay, that's going to be a deal breaker, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's a package deal.
Right.
And when I found out it wasn't, of course, it was okay. You may take one step ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
So the key factor is that you don't want to waste time on long distance relationship, because one of the things about being distant is that there's
what do you mean? Don't waste time. Don't waste time if it's not.
Because number one, your mind is going to start playing stupid tricks like fantasizing about something that doesn't really exist. If you're not truthful with someone that is not in your everyday life, it's very easy to fill in the gaps with your own thoughts.
Right.
And then when you meet
may or may not be true.
Oh, no doubt. Then when you meet that person, it's like, this isn't what I thought it was.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you're destroyed this whole time. And this whole fantasy thing that you built up end up not working out for you, and you're disappointed. And you know what? The fault is not within the relationship itself, but it's the fantasy that you created.
Right. And the good news today, which we didn't have the benefit of, is that you've got FaceTime,
Yes,
that
that's
you've
right.
got video FaceTime and all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
We did not. We had pictures and phone. That's what
Yeah.
we had back then.
That's right.
So,
Hurry, get to the scanner so we can get another picture over. That's how far back that was. But today with technology, we can connect better. But the other thing is, are you making the efforts? Are you scheduling
yes.
your times to meet together? If you're having
Yes.
a vacation time and she has a vacation time or he has a vacation time, you're going, no, I'm going to go we're going to go to Los Angeles and see pro basketball. And then we're going to Disneyland. Who's we? Me and my buddies. Okay. So the 3 weeks that you have
now
off,
it might have been already planned. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
are you now?
Yeah, it might have already been planned.
Okay,
tickets
well, it wasn't
purchased.
planned.
Okay.
He was being self-centered.
So of course, I say this and I will continue to say it, follow your inner knower.
That's right.
Follow your intuition. Because there'll be signs there, the consistency, the regular times of texting, FaceTiming, etc., the intentionality,
Yes.
the effort, the showing up.
Yeah.
If they're doing that all along and then something comes up and they absolutely can't get out of it, of course you're going to understand.
That's right.
But I will tell you, in talking to a lot of single people out there that I do, that there's now I talk to more women than men, so it might be a little one-sided, but there's many that are not getting that intentionality and that feedback. And you really want to reconsider, this is your one big beautiful life that you get to live, that we know of on this earth, and why give your preciousness, your precious time to someone who's not reciprocating it?
Yes.
You need to move on if they're not reciprocating it. And don't take it personal, because again, that's the universe going, I'm going to free up some space here for the one that is right. They were not right. That's the reality of it.
And let's be very honest. The key factor about being long distance, the volatility, is you don't know the other person, what they're doing on a regular basis, because you're not there. So that's why the truthful and being honest in this relationship, being long distance, is essentially has to be the cornerstone that you guys trust. Because the reality of it, if let's say you have a relationship to a man that's somewhere else and they're taking a trip, and where are you going? You come to see me? No, I'm going to Thailand. Then you have to question the integrity of this person. Well, who goes to Thailand? Think about it. Okay. So those are the things that are red flags. You don't want to ignore red flags when you get them, especially in the long distance relationship, because you can't check on it. Right. Especially if you call them over there and they answer the phone, call you by a different name. What's that about? Right.
Well, yeah, that might be a telltale sign.
Right. And, all of a sudden you're able to see only partial of their social media, and they have a total different social media that you were not aware of, that's full blown running and having a party. All these little things are red flags, and all these little things could be very easily masked when you're not in everyday life together.
But again, communication, because I have heard of individuals who thought they were in an exclusive dating arrangement. They had met them online, and come to find out their profile was still active.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a conversation. It could have been innocent. I don't know the story on this particular story. It could have been innocent.
Well, mine was innocent.
Why, yours was still active?
She's like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, what's funny is this.
I don't think I even ever checked. I wasn't that tech smart back then.
Yeah. Well, what it was is after we got married, I just, just ignored it. Didn't even think about it. Because as a matter of fact, even before I got married.
Was that when that girl contacted you?
Which girl? Anyway. So what happened was, I realized it was still on when I got an email, like a month and a half or so after I got married.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I got the email. I was like, where is this from? Then I looked and I clicked on it, and it was like, oh, it's a response from this ad. It was not even the LA Match ad. It was something else.
Match.com.
Yeah, it was something else. And at that point, I realized, oh, there's stuff out there. It just didn't dawn on me. You know what I mean? Because I was so I found it, So I had to
Hmm.
go back and retrace and find all that stuff out
Right.
and take it out.
And that's such
So
a
it
good
happened.
point, Jeff. I didn't bust him on it, but um,
Well, because it lasted for a fraction of a second, and I
of a
figured out
second,
what it was, and I got rid of
and I
it.
wouldn't have known anyway. But give give the person that you're giving time to the benefit of the doubt.
That's right.
Oh, always give them the benefit of the doubt, but be smart, and again, be communicative.
Yeah.
Say, hey, so and so, I notice your profile is still active. I go, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Or, well, I wasn't planning on making it inactive. Good. That opens the honest conversation.
That's right.
Oh, okay. So how do you see our relationship
right.
going? Are you're looking to date other people? I
Right.
should too. And that may or may not be something that you are good with, and you can make an informed decision whether
That's
to
right.
stay in the relationship or not.
And
Right?
if the relationship is exactly how you want it and how they want it, then don't mess with it. If that you're happy with it, then you're happy with it. Okay. Nobody's here to judge whether you have to be married or you have to be a certain way. If you only want to see each other once every 6 months and then have the craziest weekend you want, by all means. If
Yep.
both parties are mature and adults, knock
Yep.
yourself out.
Yep. That's everybody
Right.
is so different, so unique, and has different
That's right.
needs, wants, desires, limitations,
But
and
the key is
expectations.
the honesty of it
Yes.
is where that allows it to either eventually fizzle out and no one gets hurt, or if you get better to the next levels and you get together and build a great life. But the key thing is there's no misleading. There is no hiding of the truth. And then there is no, I didn't mean to hurt you conversation. All that would not exist if you just were honest from the beginning. So keep that in. Always embrace that in a relationship, in any kind of relationship. Even if this is somebody you just met and you're going, oh, I want to be very friendly. I want to get to know this person. Hey, don't hide something. Don't window dress it. By all means, let it have it. Let it be true.
Because with today's technology, chances are, whatever you're hiding, if someone wants to bad enough, they can find
Right.
out whatever.
And the key
Right.
thing is, ultimately lies will be exposed because you can't cover it all the time if you're lying about it.
Mhm.
For instance,
Can't
oh
remember
yeah,
all the lies.
right. I'm in LA and I work as an actor and I drive a Porsche 911. Nobody knows I'm living with 6 dudes in a studio apartment and I'm stealing tuna fish out of a local convenience store because I have no money and I'm going on my 10th so-called casting call that they go, no, thank you, you're too short. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That on paper it may look great. Oh, he's an actor in LA and he drives a Porsche. He's happening. Yeah. Okay. Is that the truth they're sharing with you? No, I've been here in LA for 10 years, busting my hump. It's really hard to get a job. I bust tables and I write on my all time. If somebody's approaching like that, and you're kind of going, I admire you for sticking to it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I admire
and
you
any,
for telling
and
me that.
anyone who leads
Yep.
with that. I remember I used to, tell people, wow, I had this epiphany. This is back, in my dating days, and I was at a club in Newport Beach, and it was like the canned statement. Okay, you're dancing with a guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my name is Steve. I live in Newport Beach. I drive a Porsche, and I'm getting into acting." Like, okay, I think the last guy just told me that same spiel.
Right. And that's
Next,
the thing.
please.
We sometimes wear what we do on our sleeves like that's our value and our worth, and it's not.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It's from the heart. It's from here. And if you can offer that in the truest sense and be honest, that's where the truth and the greatness of the love start to build in the true foundation of it. Right. So the house will not topple when it starts to go up. And that's something that I want everybody to know, that this is by example. This is by experience. I've gone both sides of this, being the guy, the conniving, the womanizing, to finally figuring it out. Love.
So glad you did, honey.
Well, you know what? We would not be doing this.
No,
I can
we
promise you
wouldn't.
that.
We wouldn't. But it takes time, it takes growth.
Yep.
And our hope is, again, not to be preachy, but if we can save anyone out there the heartache, the time, the foibles of what we have gone through in our growth, then it's all worth it.
100%.
So with that, Jeff, I want to I want to read
Yeah.
this was someone who had responded. It's Dan the expat, and it's
Thank you for commenting.
Yes,
Like and
thank you.
subscribe.
Yes, thank you so much. Like and subscribe, absolutely. And here's what Dan the expat says. I met my wife online just over 5 years ago. We didn't live in the same city. There was a big age gap, and we were both foreigners living in a third world country. I thought, quote, this will never work. As we came to know each other, I think we both found a person with solid values on the other end of the relationship. If it did work, and I am the happiest I have ever been. Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing that with us. That makes our hearts sing. Nowhere on there did I hear he had a Porsche and he was getting into acting and he's rich. So congratulations on that. We'd love to hear your stories. If you have any out there, please share them with us, either at on the podcast or at
Leave us
Publishing.
A
comment would be great.
Leave us a comment and, like I say, share this info, share this podcast with everyone who is looking for love, who is having relationship issues maybe, or, having difficulties. Because the idea for what we do is we want to be able to be a sounding board for you, being able to inspire and help you thrive in your relationship.
Absolutely. 2025 time to thrive.
So my lovely little bear now is going to close us out with this beautiful poem.
Little poem, Across the Distance, appropriately named. It's not just miles or maps or blinking cursors waiting for replies. It's hearts that whisper, I choose you across time. The secret isn't in grand promises, but in tiny consistencies. The good mornings, the stayed up lates, the I'm here, even when you're not. Love doesn't need perfect timing, just honest ones, where truth travels faster than fear. Trust is the bridge when hands can't reach. It's the silence that still feels like presence. You navigate time zones by syncing intentions, by loving on purpose, by letting the emotional miles make you deeper, not distance. And when the ache gets loud and the wait feels long, you remember real love doesn't count miles. It multiplies meaning, because when both hearts stand still in the same truth, you are already home.
Wow.
I like that. Already home.
Well, again, thank you all for tuning in. Like and subscribe. We're also working on our Substack, so that's coming soon. We're going to have a his and hers. So we have our opinions towards certain points of these episodes and podcasts. And until then, we'll see you next time. And much love to all of you.
Bye.